In this video, we'll be going over how to activate and configure your F200 device to control your building automation system through FinStack. Before you can begin activating your F200 device, you'll need to make sure you've already followed the quick install guide to get the device powered up and connected to your network. You will also need to make sure that you have access to the Horizon Device Management Portal and that you've already been registered to the Edge-to-Cloud server for licensing purposes. If you do not have access to either of these, please contact your distribution partner for more information. So to begin, the first step in configuring your F200 device is to retrieve the activation key by logging into your device. The default IP address assigned to the device on startup is 169.254.169.254. Type the IP address of the device into your browser to reach the F200 Configuration Portal login page. If it's your first time logging into the F200 Configuration Portal, you will need to log in using the default username and password, which are both set to admin and spelt with all lowercase letters. You'll be prompted to change the default password. Go ahead and set that up and log in with your new credentials. Once you've logged in, locate the activation key and copy it to your clipboard. Once you have the activation key copied, the next step is to activate your device. To do this, you'll need to open a new browser tab and log into the Horizon Device Management Portal by typing assets.bpcloudapps.siemens.com into your browser. Log in using your registered credentials. Once you're logged in, click on the Sites tab located on the top left menu. On the top right of the Sites view, you'll see a button that says Add. Click the Add button to begin adding your site. A new form will pop up. Provide a name for your new site and then start typing in the site's address. As you type, a drop-down menu will automatically appear with suggested addresses for you to select from. Selecting from the Suggested Addresses drop-down will also automatically populate a time zone. If the time zone needs to be adjusted or manually entered, click on the Time Zone drop-down menu and select the desired time zone. Once you're done filling out the form, click on the green Add button to add your new site. Click on the site and select the Add button to add in your device. A new pop-up will appear, asking for you to enter your device's activation key. Paste in the activation key and click on the Validate button. Once validated, you can click on the Add button to add the device to your site. Your new device should now appear in the list. Click on the device. You will see a new form asking you to select your distribution method and version. In this case, we will be assigning the device to use FinStack. Hit Save to continue. The next step is to install and synchronize the FinStack application. To do this, go to your application menu and select the Install option, and then select the Synchronize option to begin installing the application to the device. Once the software has successfully installed on the device, the next step is to configure the firewall. By default, inbound traffic is not allowed on the device, so you must open the ports to allow the F200 device to communicate with the building automation network and have remote access to FinStack. To do this, go over to the Remote Access tab and click on the Open button next to the Gateway Configuration box to remote into your device. Log into your F200 Configuration Portal using the credentials you had set in the first step of this video. Then, once you've logged in the left menu, open the Networks drop-down and select the firewall header. Click on the pencil icon on the bottom right of the Allowed Connections section and set up the UDP ports to range from 47808-47825. And for the TCP ports, type in 8085 and 8090 using a comma and a space to separate them. 8085 is your non-secure port and 8090 is your secure port. Now we can go back to the Horizon Device Management browser tab and go over to the application setting and click Synchronize to sync the new settings. Once the synchronization is complete, you can switch over to the Services tab to check the status of the services running on the device, including the FinStack service. The FinStack service should now be up and running. To access the Finstack server, you can switch over to the Remote Access tab, hit Open on the desired Finstack gateway to remote into the Finstack server. This should then take you to the Finstack login page. By default, the credentials to log into a newly installed Finstack server is SU for the username and SU for the password. Type that in and press the login button to officially log into your Finstack server. As soon as you log in, the Finstack EULA will appear. To proceed, read the agreement, and if you agree, scroll down to the very bottom and hit the Accept button. An error will appear indicating that there's no license. To populate and license the Finstack server, start by going to the License tab and clicking on the Host Info button located on the bottom left of the interface. Highlight and copy the host ID. At this point, if you do not have access to Edge to Cloud, go ahead and provide your distribution partner with your host ID so that they can create your license. If you do have access to the Edge to Cloud server, you can now proceed to the next step. Open a new browser tab and log into your Edge to Cloud account by visiting portal.e2cloud.io. Type in your credentials and log into your E2C account. Next, click on the Licenses tab. This will bring up a list of licenses available to your account. Select and open the license record that belongs to this server by clicking on the ID. A page with your license information will appear. The host ID on the license record should be blank. To add the newly generated host ID, click Edit. An Edit License window will appear. Paste in the host ID that was copied from your Finstack server. Click Save to save your changes. Now that you've entered in the host ID, all you need to do is restart your F200 device. Upon reboot, the Finstack server will automatically search the Edge to Cloud server for a matching host ID and will then automatically fetch and install the license on its own. To reboot the device, switch over to the Horizon Device Management view. Select the Information tab and select Reboot to begin rebooting the device. Wait for the device to finish rebooting. Once it says Online, go to your Services tab and ensure that the Finstack service is running. Then go to Remote Access, open Finstack, and log in using the default credentials SUSU. Once you've logged in, you'll be prompted to do a mandatory password reset. Type in a new password and confirmation, and then press Save to set your new superuser password. If you go to the License tab, the newly uploaded license should appear and be ready to go. If you need to manually install a license, go ahead and click on the Install button there, and then just repeat the reboot step that we just went over. Once your license is set, you can now move over to the Projects tab and begin using Finstack to create and populate your building automation system. This concludes the steps required to configure and activate your F200 device to control your building automation system with Finstack. Thanks for watching.